In 1948, a man was found dead on a beach. The police identified his cause of death. They knew he had likely been poisoned. They knew he had no identification. They knew every label in his clothes had been deliberately removed. They found a secret pocket sewn into his trousers. Inside, it was a hidden message. They even found a coded note in a mysterious book connected to him. And yet, for more than 70 years, they didn't know his name, not who he was, not where he came from, not why he died. How do you investigate a murder when the victim doesn't officially exist? This is the story of the Somerton Man. December 1st, 1948, Somerton Beach, Adelaide, Australia. The man was discovered leaning upright against a seawall, legs extended, head resting gently to one side. He looked composed, almost arranged. Witnesses had seen him the night before. He barely moved for hours. At one point, someone noticed a slight motion of his arm, then stillness again. By sunrise, he was dead. There were no signs of violence, no blood, no struggle, no footprints suggesting resistance. But something felt wrong immediately. He was fully dressed in a pressed suit and polished shoes, unusual for a beach. And when police searched him, the situation escalated quickly. There was no wallet, no ID, no papers, and every single label inside his clothing had been carefully removed. Not ripped in panic, not damaged, precisely cut out. Someone had erased him. The autopsy revealed contradictions. He was in strong physical condition, muscular calves, broad shoulders, hands that didn't show signs of heavy manual labor. But internally, his organs told a different story. His spleen was abnormally enlarged, his liver was congested, his stomach showed signs consistent with poisoning. Doctors concluded he likely ingested a rare toxin, but toxicology tests detected nothing. No common poisons, no barbiturates, no cyanide. It was as if the substance had vanished. In 1948, certain exotic poisons could kill quickly and leave little trace. If this was murder, it was carefully executed, but investigators were about to find something even stranger. Months later, during a re-examination of his clothing, police noticed something almost invisible: a tiny, concealed fob pocket sewn inside the waistband of his trousers. It hadn't been part of the original design. Inside it was a tightly rolled scrap of paper. Printed on it were two words: Tamam Shud. The phrase comes from a 12th century Persian text, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. It means ended. The paper had been torn from a book. Police released this detail publicly. Soon after, a man came forward with a bizarre claim. He had found a copy of the Rubaiyat in the backseat of his car around the time the body was discovered. The final page had been torn out. The missing piece matched the scrap from the dead man's pocket perfectly. But that wasn't the real shock. Inside the back cover of that book was a code. 5 lines of capital letters, no punctuation, no clear structure. Some letters were crossed out. It looked intentional. Cryptographers, intelligence analysts, and amateur code breakers would spend decades trying to solve it. No confirmed solution was ever agreed upon. Below the coded letters was a phone number. It led to a young nurse living just a short distance from where the body had been found. She had once owned a copy of the Rubaiyat. She claimed she had given it away years earlier. When shown a cast of the dead man's face, investigators observed something telling. She appeared deeply unsettled, but she denied knowing him. At the time, Adelaide was home to military research facilities and classified weapons programs. The Cold War was beginning, and the theory shifted dramatically. What if this wasn't suicide? What if this was espionage? Consider the elements: an unidentified man with no records, clothing labels removed, a hidden pocket sewn into his trousers, a coded message in a rare book, an undetectable poison. Post-war Australia was strategically important: uranium mines, weapons testing, intelligence operations. If a foreign agent needed to be silenced quietly, a public beach at night would be effective. Some investigators believe the code could have been a one-time pad, a spy communication system designed to be impossible to break without the original key. Fingerprint databases across Australia, Britain, and the United States found no match. It was as if this man had never been registered in any system. For over 70 years, his grave marker read, "The Unknown Man." but modern science would eventually challenge that. In 2022, forensic scientists exhumed the Somerton Man's body. Hair samples preserved in plaster casts were used for advanced DNA analysis. Genealogists traced distant relatives through family trees spanning continents. Finally, a name surfaced: Carl/Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. Reported missing in the late 1940s, married but separated from his wife. For the first time in history, the unknown man had an identity, but the biggest questions remain unanswered. Why was he in Adelaide? Was he meeting someone? What does the code mean? Why was the Tamam Shud page hidden in a secret pocket? And if this was murder, who executed it so perfectly that it took over 70 years just to learn his name? Tamam Shud means finished, but in this case, it never was. Because knowing who he was still doesn't tell us why he died. And until that answer surfaces, the Somerton Man remains one of the most precise, calculated mysteries ever recorded. Tamam Shud means ended. But if you're ready for more mysteries that are anything but, subscribe.